is our time, the main news at this hour. I'm Ekaterina Mestorenko in the studio. Welcome. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is visiting Spain. This is the third EU country the Ukrainian head of state has visited in the past few days. Our special correspondent for Freedom TV in Europe, Vitaly Sizov, will tell us about the program and goals of this visit. Vitaly's with us live right now, joining us directly from Madrid. Hello. And please tell us about the goals of the visit. What are the planned meetings for Volodymyr Zelenskyy in Spain, and what should we expect from this trip? Vitaly.
Katerina, we can already say that the visit has begun. The president of Ukraine began his visit to Madrid by visiting the parliament, where he was welcomed by the Speaker of the lower house, Francina Armengol, and the president of the Senate, Pedro Roland. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, spoke with both of them and also left an entry in the parliament's guest book. We have the text to this entry. We thank the people of Spain and its authorities for the support they are providing and have provided to Ukraine. Let me remind you that almost a month ago, on October 23rd, during his visit to Brussels, the president of Ukraine took part in a meeting of the European Council, and he announced that Spain had joined the initiative under the auspices of NATO. Hurl is a priority list of weapons for Ukraine. Thus, Spain will also finance the purchase of American weapons for delivery, for shipment to Ukraine. Announcing his visit directly to Spain a few days ago, the president of Ukraine wrote on his Twitter page that at the center of his work would be strengthening air defense and joint defense initiatives. A meeting between the president of Ukraine and King Felipe VI of Spain, as well as with the head of the Spanish government, Pedro Sanchez, has already been confirmed, where these issues will likely be discussed. Let me remind you that the president of Ukraine has arrived here in Madrid, in Spain, from France, where he recently met with the French president, Emmanuel Macron, and where an agreement was officially reached on the delivery of a total of 100 advanced Rafale aircraft by the year 2035, as well as state-of-the-art air defense systems, sophisticated radars for those air defense systems, a significant number of air-to-air missiles, and a variety of aerial bombs. And here in Spain, defense is also a focus for the president. He will have meetings with representatives of the Spanish defense industry. We are on the ground, following all the events and meetings, and we will keep you updated about them in the next news broadcasts. Katerina.
Thank you, Vitaly. That was Vitaly Sizov, special correspondent for Freedom TV channel in Europe, reporting from Madrid. The capital of Spain is hosting President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on an official visit, one of the main topics in the negotiations. Support for Ukraine, both defense and financial. Meanwhile, Russia continues to terrorize peaceful cities and villages in Ukraine. Last night, the Russians launched a missile strike on Berestov in the Kharkov region. A 17-year-old girl who was severely wounded in this attack died in the hospital. Another 10 people were injured, including a 16-year-old teenager. In the city, there was damage to civilian infrastructure facilities, as well as private and multi-apartment residential buildings and administrative offices. Two people were wounded as a result of a massive drone attack by the Russian Federation on Dnipro. The attack began late last night. Over the course of several hours, more than 20 explosions were heard in the city. According to the regional military administration, the shelling caused fires in 4 districts of Dnipro. A transportation company and a private business, an administrative building, a car service station, shops and cafes were damaged. Windows were blown out in residential buildings. A 2-story building belonging to one of the TV channels was completely burned down.
I woke up because the first floor was blown out. The window was blown out. Glass would fly in. And I was covered, well, luckily I was covered with a blanket. I was covered with glass. And then there were more than 10. That's how many I counted. But the women said there were 11. Someone else said there were 13 explosions. The shaheeds were right in the yard, lying right here. Everyone was in the basements. Everyone! In our buildings, the basements are never locked. Everyone was in the basements. Every entrance had the basement. Everyone was in the basements. And thank God there were no casualties. And
it started smoking right away. The roof caught fire immediately, around 10:30 p.m. Our colleague, a video editor, she lives near the branch office. She wrote that there was a very loud explosion. and all the windows in her building were blown up. She said she could see the roof of our branch office burn, and rescue workers were here all night. For now, we don't have any specific information. My colleagues were able to get into the first floor and saw that a lot of our filming equipment in particular had already been destroyed by that time. The building hasn't been inspected yet. We can only speak after that has been done. But preliminarily, there is a lot of destruction specifically on the first floor. They didn't go any higher. Yep.
The strike by Russian drones also hit the railway infrastructure in Dnipro. A depot that services the region's passenger electric trains was damaged. This is already the second massive attack on the facility. The repair shop has been significantly destroyed. There is also damage at the city train station. The railway infrastructure in Kharkov region was also targeted by a Russian drone attack. In Berestyn, train cars and facilities were damaged. At 4 stations, a railway worker was injured. He received the necessary medical assistance. 2 elderly people were killed as a result of the nighttime attack on Chernihiv region. Around midnight, Russia struck the Horodnyanska community with drones. Residential houses were also damaged. One of the strikes hit a non-operational facility, according to regional authorities. Fires broke out, but they have already been extinguished. In total, over the past 24 hours, the Russian Federation Army carried out 11 shellings in the region. More than 20 explosions were heard in the region. Russia launched 4 Iskander-M ballistic missiles at Ukraine on Tuesday night. The Russian Federation Army also used 114 drones, about 70 of which were Shaheds. Defense forces neutralized 101 Russian drones in the north, south, and east of Ukraine. Missile and drone strikes were recorded at 15 locations. Debris from downed aerial targets fell, according to the Ukrainian Air Force. The United States must push for a new round of sanctions to paralyze Russian industry and finally force the Russian dictator Putin to sit down at the negotiating table. This was stated by Finnish President Alexander Stubb. According to him, the U.S. is currently using the stick approach, and the next step should be sanctions. Trump either takes the carrot or takes the stick. He tried the carrot in Alaska and during his phone conversation with Putin. But when he realized that the Russians weren't going to move forward and weren't interested in peace, he used the stick. Alexander Stubb, president of Finland, in an interview with Politico. The cost of war for Moscow must increase. This was also stated by Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Tsahkna. He emphasized that only new sanctions can stop Russia's military aggression against Ukraine. To end the aggression, the international community, including the European Union and the United States, must continue to apply pressure and impose further sanctions. The last 2 packages imposed by the European Union against Moscow were significant. However, our goal is to introduce the 20th package as soon as possible, which will make the cost of war for Russia even higher. Sanctions should be accompanied by the unrestricted use of frozen Russian assets. Margus Tsahkna, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Estonia. Some of the most important military exercises in Northern Europe have started near the Finnish city of Rovaniemi. More than 2,000 soldiers and 500 vehicles are taking part in the maneuvers. They also involve Polish artillerymen from the 1st Masurian Brigade, according to local media. The Poles brought Hammer rocket launchers with them to the exercises. This is the first time in history that modern equipment of the Polish armed forces has been airlifted to a foreign training ground. I should note that the exercises are taking place in a region located on the border with Russia. In the Netherlands, people have been urged to be prepared for cyber attacks and disinformation. The acting prime minister of the country, Dick Schoof, outlined the threats that could affect the daily lives of citizens. He noted that other countries are trying to influence the Netherlands by spreading fake news about such an important computer system. Schoof called on his fellow citizens to think pragmatically and remain calm. At the same time, he did not directly mention Russia's involvement in such threats.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.